Hey, testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check, weather testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for joining us. We've got a new severe weather threat over central Indiana. I'm 13 News meteorologist Matt Standridge. We've got a complex of some nasty storms coming in from Illinois, crossing the state line right now, making a run at central Indiana. We wanted to give you the latest on the timing of when these storms could arrive and who has the best chance for some of these storms. The weather pattern has been very unsettled. We've got this northwest flow over us, and in the summer, that causes a lot of problems, a lot of pop-up showers and storms. This is the latest complex. There's a severe thunderstorm watch for Illinois, not technically for Indiana, mainly because we just have really one big cell that we're tracking. But it is not losing steam. As it heads towards central Indiana and as we heat up, it may be able to sustain itself as it tries to cross the Hoosier State. We want to give you a little bit a closer view of some of these storms as they approach the state line right now. When you look off to the west right now, you see those storms coming in just next to Vermilion County and headed into Fontaine and Warren County as well. That's where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Everything just west of Lafayette and Purdue. This line of storms will continue to track about 30 miles per hour to the east across central Indiana. But there's kind of two different parts to this storm. There's just a lot of heavy rain and some thunder. And then there's a pocket of really heavy rain with intense lightning and thunder and stronger gusty winds. That is the southern side of the cell. Whenever you see a lot of lightning on the radar, that's a sign that you've got a lot of nasty storms, and that's where the storm is probably the strongest. So here in the southern part, coming right towards Vermilion County and eventually Park County, that's is where we're going to be tracking this line. And right now, it's moving almost due east. So that's going to come right towards Indianapolis over the next couple of hours. Farther to the north, you go to the north side of 74, coming into Benton County, and then as you head towards Warren County, eventually Tippecanoe, Montgomery counties, this is where we're watching just a lot of heavy rain. Technically, there is a severe thunderstorm warning for the northern half. However, it is dying out on this northern side. Don't be surprised if we just start getting warnings for this cell and they kind of march like this towards the east over time. But a lot of heavy rain coming in towards 65 and 74 at Lafayette. You're the next ones ahead for some of these storms. So let's go ahead and get into the weeds here. I want to show you the latest timing. So this thing is moving about 30 miles per hour to the east right now. And so if we put the latest track with future track 13 with the radar, let's go ahead and time this out. About 30 miles per hour. This is kind of the whole complex. What we'll do is we'll take a look at the whole complex, and then we'll just take a look at the severe part, which has the main line of the gusty wind. So as we time this out for you, I'm going to put this just a little bit farther out. Let's go over the next, let's say, 2 hours or so. Maybe you can go a little bit farther. Let's say about 2.5 hours. So when you're looking at this, you'll see a couple of these town names. So for Lafayette, about 40 minutes from now, so as we get close to 11:40, we'll be watching these storms come in. For the Indianapolis area, this is really about 2.5 hours out. So we've got a ways to go. So far, this thing is not really weakening as it moves over time. I'll move this over just to the side, maybe see a little bit better. So west side, west suburbs, Brownsburg, about 2 hours from now. Same thing for Danville, Avon, Plainfield, Hendricks County. You'll probably be the first ones to get this coming in when we're talking about the donut around Indianapolis. So Boone County, Hendricks County, and then Morgan County will be getting it within about 2 hours. So let's say about 1 o'clock, these storms start to arrive. But it's really the southern portion, which is going to head right towards Putnam County and then Hendricks County. So look up Avon, Brownsburg, and Plainfield. To Marion County. Once you get to downtown Indianapolis or within, let's say, about 10 minutes of the skyscrapers, this is going to be about, let's say, about 1:15 to 1:20. We're just over 2 hours from coming out towards Indianapolis. We'll have to also watch towards Johnson County because the thing with these storms, sometimes they'll move due east and then they'll start to drop off to the south just a little bit. So Johnson County, we're talking about Greenwood here within about 1:30. We'll be talking about timeline of this storm coming in. So we've got a couple hours to go. go. But with this pocket of wind, these 60-mile-per-hour winds, you're going to want to make sure that you've got things ready to go with the wind. You know, if you got some patio furniture that you just put out, you may just want to kind of keep it secured for the rest of the week, because we're going to be watching these on and off scattered storm chances the next couple of days as well. We've got more complexes tomorrow and probably finishing out on Friday. Maybe by the weekend we'll get some drier weather, get high pressure back in here so it's not so stormy. But some of us have picked up a lot of water the past couple of days, while others we haven't really gotten much. But this is the first complex. So what we're going to be watching is this thing comes in towards Indianapolis 2.5 hours from now. So let's say 1 to 2 o'clock. Good window for coming in towards Indy. If you live on the east side or northeast side, let's say Fishers to McCordsville, south towards the Post Road area, Lawrence, and then even southeast towards Shelbyville, even Hancock County. Once you get into Greenfield, this will be about 2 o'clock for us. So we still got a couple hours to go, but we will be watching this line as it moves east. As it comes in east, what it's going to do is it may break up some of the northern parts, but this cell is probably going to stay pretty strong. We have not noticed any really decrease in the lightning. You're looking at that lightning counter over time. We're talking about 60 to 70 lightning strikes every about 15 minutes or so. So pretty good cell here. You see it start closer to 100 just because we've had some lightning off towards the west that's getting kind of cut off just a little bit. But really this pocket is still pretty healthy and is chugging along just fine towards Indianapolis. So this is what we're watching. Now, once it arrives, it could be a little bit more broken. This cell will probably be strong. Other parts will be a little bit broken. But that's when the forecast gets kind of wonky. Once we break up these cells and they get a little bit of space in between, little new boundaries will start to form, because where it's raining, it will cool off. You guys know, right now it's warm and sticky. When you get a thunderstorm to come in, it'll cool you off, but then maybe your neighbors, the town next door, may not cool off. You get these boundaries to form up between cool spots and hot spots. When that happens, you can fire up more thunderstorms. So this is not the only complex we're thinking or talking about. Once it pushes on through, we're going to turn into an unsettled weather environment where we get these pop-ups here and there for the rest of the day. There might be kind of a concentration south of Indianapolis. That's just where the biggest cell is coming in. It's probably going to be the biggest disruptor. So as it comes towards Indy and to the south, we could start to see more pop-up showers and storms farther south of Indianapolis later this afternoon and evening. Angela and I will be here to track these storms as they come in on and off throughout the day. It's not going to storm all day, and not everyone's going to get rain today. Everything's going to be a little bit different for everyone in terms of what you actually experience. This is kind of tropical weather that we're dealing with when these dew points are well into the 70s. Now let's just talk about the actual severe part of the storm. So this is kind of a whole timeline of some rain. I mean, we're even getting some rain towards Carmel, and in Fishers we'll get some of this rain, maybe not as severe as this part is, this lightning part, this really intense part. Skies are probably going to get really dark here just in a moment for Vermilion and Park counties, but then Putnam, Hendricks County, and right into Marion, Johnson, and then Morgan County, that's what we're probably watching the most. Farther east, you guys thinking Richmond, let's say Rushville, Shelbyville, even Greensburg. We'll have to watch this thing a little bit. This thing is probably still at least 4 hours away. A lot of things can change over the next 4 hours. So we'll continue to give you updates throughout the day and give more updates for eastern Indiana. A little bit more kind of uncertain right now once you get east of Indy, but pop-up storm chances are likely mainly after about 3 o'clock. So we still got some time. Still enjoy the sunshine for a while, but that sunshine is really baking us right now. We are heating up. Our heat index value may reach over 100 degrees later today. You may want a good sip of water, but we don't want the severe weather threat with that as it comes in. So now we'll do a new track. Let's just talk about the cell that's coming in right now on the state line, Vermilion County, headed into Park County. And let's time this out 30 miles per hour. And then we update, we'll make this a little bit longer. It wants to default to just 30 minutes, but we want to give you a quick long range update, so we got to make some manual changes on the fly. So what we'll do is add in about 3 hours worth. Here we go. So you can see some of the times. I'll step off to the side for a second because I know I'm blocking the storm for you guys, my bad. So Plainfield, 2 hours. Downtown Indianapolis, just about 2 hours from now. Give or take, let's say about 2 o'clock, 2:15. And then Greenwood, Franklin, Columbus, so you get even farther south, Johnson County, and then headed into parts of Bartholomew and Brown County as well. Nashville, you'll be included in that too. About 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours from now. This is where the strongest storm is likely to be over time. Now let's take a looks at what else is going on in the atmosphere. So our newscasts are a little bit different because the Olympics are going on. So we wanted to hop on here from a digital side and give you some updates of what we're thinking. We'll have more digital updates throughout the day. We just want to let you know, hey, storm coming in, crossing the state line right now, going to create some unsettled weather throughout much of the middle part of the day today and could even spark some more cells later today. So let's walk through a couple different things for the rest of the afternoon and evening. We do have an impact today. You need to stay weather aware. Weather's going to be something that could help change your plans later today where the strongest storms develop. Generally, there are 2 time periods to watch. Now till 4 o'clock is where we have this complex coming in from central Illinois, mainly Indianapolis to the west and south. So Hendricks County, Brown County, Bartholomew County, Johnson County, Morgan County, Putnam County. That's where we're watching for some of the biggest impacts. You go north of Indy, you're probably going to get some scattered rain, at least for some of us. That northern part may break up a little bit more. It's not as strong. The southern part is what can keep on chugging along just like a train. It's hard to stop a train as it's coming in. So northern side, maybe a little bit tough. Kokomo, Peru, Muncie, even Marion, and then Carmel, northbound Westfield. We could be in Noblesville, maybe a little bit more scattered, but now till 4 o'clock, watch out for some unsettled weather, especially South Midi. Then we pick up another time zone, another time period, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The reason why, as this complex eventually fades, you'll pop up new boundaries, you'll pop up new cells, probably closest to the bigger storm that's out there. That bigger storm headed towards Greenwood and Franklin and Indy, and even Martinsville, Monrovia, you'll be included on that. Where that parks and sets up other boundaries where we could pop up more storms. So 6 to 11 o'clock, mainly anywhere to get one, but the highest potential does seem to be about I-70 to the south. So watch out later today. But what we're expecting is on and off storms. It's not going to storm all day long. It's not going to rain all day long. In fact, a lot of times you're going to have some sunshine and then another storm could try to roll on through. But the biggest impact with some of these storms will be some of the gusty winds. So we've got a couple different threats, right? When we talk about severe weather, we've got wind, we've got hail, we've got even tornado threats. When we're lining things up for today, winds up here. Wind's the highest threat. We've got some 60-mile-per-hour winds coming into Vermilion County, headed to Park County next. So eventually Putnam County, you'll be on the lookout. You're not under severe thunderstorm warning right now, but you may be. Wind's the highest threat. Then you go down here towards the low category. There is a low tornado threat and even lower hail threat. It's mainly wind, and there could be some rotation in some of these storms. Right now, when we're looking at these storms, they don't really have much rotation, mainly just a lot of wind coming through into western Indiana. So winds are our primary threat that everyone could get. Even those cells that we had Monday with some of the rotations on them, of course, we had that tornado there in Madison County, it's technically started in Hamilton. There were a lot of wind for other folks too. So everyone gets a lot of wind potentially, but then there could be some rotation at times. But wind's the primary threat. But we just need to be ready is just keep an eye on the radar. We're going to have updates throughout the day to keep you weather aware and to show you where the storms are heading, where they're going to be the worst, and what we can expect probably over the next couple of hours. Very unsettled weather environment, so kind of like a domino effect. We have to kind of see how things happen in the next couple of hours to help forecast the next and just so on. So weather aware today, unsettled. That's the story. When you look at our temperatures, we've really warmed up. It's not even lunchtime yet, unless you do an early lunch. We've got temperatures crossing right next to the 80-degree mark. When you look off to the north and west, though, it's a little bit cooler as you go into parts of Illinois. They've cooled off because of the rain. And here's the thing, where you've got the difference between cooler air and warmer air, you can pop up more cells. And that's what's going to make later this afternoon and evening, that second time window, a little bit more complicated. But we'll probably get the biggest difference in boundaries in southern and central Indiana, right about in here, and that's where we're probably going to expecting more storms. But we are warming up. It is humid, it is sticky, and that's why we have the severe threat. We have everything in place. The jet stream is now starting to line over us too. So you got the bottom part of the atmosphere. We're working on the top right now. And so that's what we're going to be watching, level 2 severe risk from Marion all the way south to Evansville. About 70% of the state is under a level 2 severe risk today out of 5. So still on the lower side. But generally this yellow zone is the threat where the highest potential of severe storms will be. You go farther north and east towards Fort Wayne, that chance cuts off mainly because the jet stream's right here. Once you get out of the jet stream to the north and east, storms should be a little bit weaker. The primary threat, though, will be the severe wind. In this yellow zone, you can see just a little bit higher on this color here, we're going to be watching the highest potential for some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. From a tornado risk standpoint, we're in the lowest category, but it's not zero. there could be some cells later this evening, especially, that are sitting by themselves and may try to spin just a little bit. And so that's why we have this low threat, very low threat, but not zero, from Indianapolis all the way south to Bloomington and Columbus. Make sure you're weather aware. We'll monitor each cell as it moves and forms over central Indiana. Let's walk through a timeline. Right now, we've got storms on the state line. As they move eastbound, they're likely to probably fade a little bit more on the top. The southern part, though, could be a little bit stronger. Now, when it comes to a lot of these computer simulations, they can be tough in an environment like this. So far, this cell has not weakened. We'll have to see if it does, but right now we do think it's going to be able to come in. I think it's underestimating how much heat that we're building right now to help support some of these storms. So as these come in, watch out for some of the strongest storms from Indy to the south. This is through about 3 or 4 o'clock, but then it should eventually get out of here. So it's really from now till 4 p.m. We watch the scattered storm chance because of the cell coming in from Illinois. We might take a little bit of a break, but here's the thing. Once we move that first cell out, we've got some places that have heated up, some places that have cooled down with some clouds. Those differences can cause a really big forecasting headache, and you pop up more scattered showers and storms later into the day. This is about 8:30, and once again, this is just a simulation. We're generally thinking from Indianapolis to the south, more storms could develop. Now, they'll hop on that jet stream, and they'll move south and east over time, headed towards Cincinnati, headed towards Louisville. The farther north you go, we'll watch, but we may be a little bit drier from Carmel north. But from Greenwood south, that's where we have the highest potential later this evening. Could be some nasty storms until about 11 o'clock. After that, we really start to clean up the radar and get quieter before more storms potentially try to fire tomorrow. Maybe even tomorrow morning. That's something Chuck and Lindsay will be watching for you guys in the morning. But let's go back to the radar, and then we'll wrap things up. We're going to have more updates throughout the afternoon. It's still morning right now, but once we get past lunchtime and into the afternoon, we're going to be watching this cell. It's really this part of the storm that is the strongest. They're probably going to have to cut off this warning and maybe add a little bit more here towards the south side, kind of filling in on the south side, even look a little bit closer. In fact, let's zoom in. All right, and I'm going to clear off the timeline. So we're looking, here's Park County, and there's Vermilion County. We're filled up Vermilion County right now, so from Terre Haute northbound on 41, coming to Highland, Rockville, and then we're just going to keep on going right into Danville and Avon on US 36. It's just going to chug along right into Putnam County and then Hendricks County and then to Indianapolis. But here's that part of the storm. You go northbound, we still technically have a warning there for Attica, even western portions of Tippecanoe County. But this is really weakened over time. You still got some heavy rain, but when we're looking at the wind, it is most intense there towards the south. Right in here. Right in here is where we're watching more of that wind as it comes towards Rockville. Probably a nasty shelf cloud on this storm too. You might even be able to see it even from about Avon. From Indy, it's a little bit tough unless you're on the top of the skyscrapers looking out towards the west. You probably see some dark clouds off in the distance. A little bit hazy out there because it's summer, a little bit warm and humid. But there's the cell moving east. Got some lightning with it. It does look like over the past couple of stands we've decreased our lightning, which lightning is a good indicator of the health of a storm. Get more lightning, stronger storm. When the lightning starts to taper off, it is starting to weaken. So what we've noticed is it's kind of expanding in its size. You see some cells growing on the south side, but the lightning does seem to have trickled off just a little bit. Still a healthy storm, still got up to about 60-mile-per-hour winds, still something that we're going to be looking out for in Greencastle, and then eventually maybe even the north side of Brazil, headed into Monrovia, Mooresville, Danville, and then eventually Avon and Brownsburg. We'll do one more timing, and then we'll kind of hop off here, and we'll have more updates throughout the rest of the middle part of the day. So I'll do one more timing. We'll do 2 more timings. We'll do one long one, just talking about rain and thunder chances. Because not everyone's going to get something severe, but many of us are going to pick up on a little bit of water. So we'll time it out about 30 minutes. And let's expand this out over the next 2 to 3 hours. So we're looking here, Brazil here in about 20 minutes, Crawfordsville here in about, I'm going to put the pause. It keeps changing. There you go. All right, so Crawfordsville, 21 minutes. I'll step to the side. Greencastle, about 40 minutes. Lebanon, just about an hour from now. Kokomo, about an hour. You probably up to the north, you won't be as strong. You'll get some heavy downpours and maybe a little bit of wind, but mainly just good thunderstorm, good summertime thunderstorm. But the main part will be more towards Brazil and Greencastle. Greencastle about 40 minutes. Brownsburg, you can see that timing just about 80 minutes from now. So let's say just after about 1 o'clock or so. 1 o'clock coming into Zionsville and Plainfield and Tipton as well. I think I can actually, I'm going to change something really quick. We're going to do, there we go. Now you can actually the times. So Greencastle about 2, Kokomo about 2:30ish, Danville 12:30, Brownsburg about 12:30, Zionsville getting closer to about 1 o'clock time frame, Plainfield about 1 o'clock, and Indianapolis will be included on that. If I can change this to switch it. There we go. So Indianapolis 1 o'clock, Fishers 1:10, Noblesville, Ruoff about 1:15, Geist about 1:15, 1:16. So you got some time. But watch out, we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms on the way. We'll do one more timing, and this is just the kind of the meat of the cell. We're going to do the southern portion that has lightning on it. That will be the greatest potential for a little bit of wind over the next couple of hours. We'll expand this out. Okay. So Bloomington, we could get clipped. Bloomington may be a little far south, but we'll watch. Bloomington, chance, close to about 1 o'clock. West Side, Speedway, 1:22. Butler, about 1:30. Indianapolis, close to downtown, let's say 1:15 to 1:30. Stay weather aware. Skies are going to get a little bit darker off towards the west. We've got a lot of sunshine right now. That's going to change as this complex comes in from Illinois, stirs up the atmosphere, and could spark more showers and thunderstorms later today. We're going to have several updates, keep you weather aware, showing you the weather impact of what we could expect throughout the rest of your Wednesday. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.